everybody, what's up? Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the TGS Weekly Stream. If this is your first time joining us, I'm Taylor, that's Corey, we're both halves of TGS Games. You can find more of our stuff on tgsgames.com. What we normally do on this weekly stream is work on our titular game, Vault Peddlers. But we are taking a 2-month break for PocketQuest 2023's annual game jam, in which you create an entire TTRPG in 2 months. And so we are working on our game jam game, currently titled God Before Us. We unfortunately missed last week because I was being a home improvement guy. I was painting rooms and getting my house repaired or fixed up so that my parents didn't know I lived like a goblin.
The sound from Home Improvement. That was a wild interpretation of it. The end got me there, but the beginning was divergent. Which is the sign of any good cover, really.
You gotta put your own little spin on it, you know?
Yeah.
All of the greats, you know, do their own version.
Mine's screaming.
I like to really draw it out as long as it'll go. So it's like
That was nice.
Thank you. I thought so too.
Can you go longer? Just forget it.
Thanks, man. We like to be really supportive here on the TGS Games stream, mainly because it's a slow week-by-week documentation of us completely losing our minds over developing tabletop games.
Boy, it's true. Update in my life, I've been eating Cabot popcorn. You know Cabot makes a popcorn like a smart food?
I did not.
Yeah, man, it's pretty
it good?
Yeah, man, it's... I was at work and I brought it up to someone and I said, it's almost too cheesy. And they were like, that's un-American. And I stopped and went, no, I think it's cheddar. And they almost threw a rock at my head.
Good. I'm glad that they did. I'm glad they held their ground. I'm glad they believed in something. Good for them.
I thought it was a pretty good joke. But yeah, let's see here. I'm just pulling up, trying to get our numbers up. Trying to get our rookie.
Gotta bump those numbers up.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie.
I might as well not have.
Yeah, I love numbers, as I remember the famous line from the movie.
I was gonna say I think it's like the scene is like he's a really big math guy, and Leonardo DiCaprio's character is like, what's the biggest number? Like 7? And he's like, oh no, those are rookie numbers. You gotta bump those numbers up.
Biggest number's 9, idiot.
I work on Wall Street.
And then they eat a big meatball. Hey, I want to talk about something a little dated.
Yeah, go for it.
Did you see they make that woolly mammoth meatball?
Woolly mammoth meatball? No, what is this?
So, a bunch of scientists cloned woolly mammoth meat and made a big meatball.
This can only go fucking well.
They made a big meatball out of it. Please Google this meatball.
Yeah, I'm already there. Jesus, sweet God.
It's a big meatball. So, here's the thing. They made that big a meatball, but guess what? Nobody could eat it.
Yeah, it's apparently not meant to be eaten. It aims to highlight the environmental impacts of standard agriculture practices and present cultured meat as a viable option for food production down the line.
Well, here's the thing. Nobody could eat it because they were like, we don't know if we're allergic to this motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that is probably also true.
And here's the thing, though. You think somebody was like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to take a piece of that meatball.
One of those scientists absolutely cut off like a little piece of it and put it on a tiny plate. Scarf that bad boy down.
or like a janitor who like walked by did not know. It's like,
oh, sick, free meatball.
Oh my. Here's the thing that's a bummer though. Say you eat this big of meatball. You take a bite of this big of meatball, you do it in a big secret way.
Uh-huh.
You don't die in this situation, but what if it is your favorite thing you have ever eaten?
I mean, then I guess lucky you that you ate it, right? Like...
Well, unlucky you will never have woolly mammoth meatball ever again in your life.
You'll never have it again.
Everything else will pale in comparison.
You'll never have it again in your life, but you will have had it. Which I think has to count for fucking something, right? Is it better to have loved and then lost, or to have not loved at all? I'm a romantic. Eat the fucking meatball, you know? Yeah.
To quote Kay from Men in Black, yeah? Have you tried it? So I guess that's where we stand.
I was about to say, once again going full circle to our commitment to Men in Black as one of the greatest action movies in the history of the world.
Best movie.
Well, that's The Mummy. I'll fight you on this.
You can fight me all you want, but you're going to have a hard time catching me because I'm going to run like that guy in the beginning of the movie, of Men in Black.
That was like parkour before parkour, and it was like very sloppy. Like, knocking over fruit stands and shit. You there?
Hold on 1 second. I had to do a big switch.
Oh, wow, yeah, you did. Your audio is very different now. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Because the headphones I chose were the wrong headphones to choose because they're dying.
So Taylor's...
So I'm just going to assume he's saying nice, kind things about me.
Yeah, so anyways, Corey's wrong about The Mummy. He's wrong about Men in Black.
Well, that's incorrect.
So, that being said, let's get back to our... Let's get back to the meat of this here. So, it's been a week. I want to apologize to our one viewer, El Stragoon. I'm so sorry that we missed last week. But we do have some ground to pick up here. And I know I've got some stuff that I want to run by you and talk through. But I wanted to see what updates you've got on your end.
Oh, hell yeah, dog. I have all kinds of updates.
Hell yeah.
I'll show everybody my updates. So,
show us your updates!
I mean, option one, we've all seen this bad boy.
Hell yeah.
So he still exists. I actually touched him up a little bit. Let's see here. Got this bad boy. I think we've all seen this one as well, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Got this one now.
Yeah. This is your newest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this bad boy.
Love this one.
So that's cool. And then we got our cover.
Which
I think
that shoot.
1 second. I'll use this one.
Hell yeah. That looks so good. Fuck.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah, that looks dope as hell. I absolutely love that. Like, everything from the star chart to, like, the actual astronauts themselves. I love space that is, like, colorful in nature. So, like, I love the little dashes of orange and stuff that you have in here. Like, it's phenomenal.
You got a little bit of, like, echo going on.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
That's cool. It was atmospheric. we were in space. Yeah, man. The orange is like trying to keep in theme with like the orange highlights of the book.
Yeah.
Blue in the background. Got this like kind of digital thing going on the text. I'm very happy with it all.
I was gonna say the font we were looking at really works. Like that works really well.
Actually, I got this little tip from Elle about how to do this. I have 2 different fonts going behind it. Well, it's the same font, but 2 different layers in different colors with different effects on them. That's giving it that kind of like digital.
Oh, neat. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it functions great. I guess the only note I would have on it is, can we make the text just a little bit bigger? Like, it seems maybe we want to maximize on that blank space, but my gut definitely says that text should pop out a little bit more than it does.
I kind of like it the size it's at. I'm worried of going big is going to make it a little showy, but I'll print it off, see what it looks like.
All right. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, so what I have left is I'm going to make 3 more pictures. And, sorry, I can't stop eating this fucking popcorn. This is a real problem. And then I'm going to start doing layout, which means that we need to start laying out actual text.
Yeah.
So that brings us to, and while Taylor does this, I'm going to be doing some nasty stuff over here. So I'll leave the floor to you, Taylor.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is, I think, the first time we've shown this doc before. This is the Word doc that I'm basically typing in. It's got all of the stuff that we've talked about so far. I've tried to kind of lay out the document as much as possible according to the page numbers that we have talked about in previous streams. So my hope is that it's just a simple matter of, filling out these sections, so on and so forth, and kind of going from there. I did have an idea for layout that I'm hoping is going to give us the best of both worlds, but I do need a little bit of help in terms of fleshing it out. So we currently have character creation scheduled for 3 pages, and then we have 3 pages of exploration tables, or I guess it's 4 pages each. So I think that's great, but I was wondering how crazy it would be to try and combine the 2 of these things to have a grand total of 8 exploration tables, which, when used correctly, can provide you with a character. Does that make sense?
I think it's an interesting idea, but I also think that we ran into this problem trying to combine things with Vault Peddlers that we just discovered, right? We had the joint tables where we tried to do all of the different tags onto one table, and that did create confusion. So I'm wondering. I mean, pitch me how you want to do it.
Well, so this is actually the thing, right? Most of the stuff that we have here, these are a list of the questions that we have for character creation. We still need to come up with answers to them. There are things like, what kind of AI made you? What kind of AI are you? What purpose were you made for? How do you see life? How long have you been in the shell? What was your first thought? Now, all of these are pretty specific to you as a person. But I was starting to wonder about this idea of what actually is an AI. How different is that from a person? I think fundamentally we have to operate on the assumption that it's at least different on some level. And so this idea of how do you see the world is kind of the angle that I am going into this from, where like, what's in front of you right now, would be like an example of a question. And then players can pick from a couple of different options. They get, either additional pips, or they get like additional slots, or they get like a bigger loadout or something like that. But on the other hand, right, the GM can then go back into this section and say like, okay, what's in front of you? Well, now I can procedurally kind of generate different rooms or different areas that can be used to fill out an adventure. This was sort of the idea. I don't disagree. I may be trying to bite off more than I can conceptually chew in. What do we have, like 5 weeks left?
And that's what I think where like, because I think we could conceivably get it to work. I don't know if we could conceivably get it to work in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Which isn't to say that we can't. Keep talking. I'm going to grab something.
Yeah, for sure. So the biggest thing really with these questions is I need to find what actually can be, what can be given, what can you actually get from one of these character creations. So the resources that everybody has, right, is they've got a certain number of pips that is going to go into a pool which you use during play. They've got their energy bar, which you can expand out, basically making your character more durable or stronger over the course of the adventure. Or the other thing is, hang on one second, specialty skills that speak to their specific experience, as well as, we'll call them loadout points for now. And this would basically be additional things that your corpse, starting out, has the ability to carry. I also...
we could do there.
Yeah.
We could just, like, wholesale... How did I grab that? We could wholesale take, like, the idea of load points. We could just steal the concept of load from Blades in the Dark, where like you like select a loadout depending on, in our case, the body that you pick up.
Right.
And whenever you need something, you basically spend a load point, and like now you have that thing.
Right.
And conceivably, it's been on you the whole time. The neat thing here is, our restart wouldn't be on like whenever you start a new job. Our restart would be whenever you get a new corpse, right? Like,
right. Yeah, so like as long as I have this particular corpse, this is the loadout that I have. But if I switch into a new one, then I would get a new loadout. And I've been thinking about ways to do that, ways to adjust that. I really love the idea that at certain points in character creation, maybe you get an extra D4 you can roll, which, like, the result adds to your loadout points, which gives you just kind of a bigger thing to start with. I also love the idea that, the character creation has a question, something like, what kind of body is this? And that also starts you with, like, a specific loadout. Go ahead.
For my money, that's what I would say. I would say that like you pick the frame that you want, and that gives you so many loadout points. And I don't even know. Like I think we go straight up steal the concept from Blades in the Dark, where it's like you don't specify what you have on you at the beginning. Yeah. It's like when it comes up, you just spend a load point and you got a fucking knife or whatever.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of it being like you pick like the body type, or because we could frame it as like the EVA suit, cybernetically enhanced body, that kind of thing. I like the blue and white, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I really tried to get this as close as humanly possible to your initial instructions as far as like what the book needs to look like. I know that this isn't it, but I'm hoping that between this and between, I've also got it sized appropriately for, I think it was like a 6x9.
Nice.
So my hope is that these pages, as we write them, are just going to immediately transfer over, and we won't have this super big headache going back and forth.
All right, I'm gonna open up the Dune book real quick to their character creation because they do something neat that I wonder if we can choose, or if we could maybe like take an idea from. Personal traits. Essential descriptions of the character. These traits provide a context of the character's actions, influencing communicate to some focuses. Yada yada. Drive statements. Okay. So let's see. Maybe we can do something like they have here. Dune Adventures in the Imperium. It's a 2D20 game, I think. Motivus. So let's see. They have something called drives. A character's inner life motivates and defines their actions. A character's drives thus shape the things they do and how successful they are at those things. A character is more likely to succeed when they believe strongly in something and less likely when they are indifferent. But those strong drives can also lead a character into trouble or lead them to take ill-advised actions. Each character has a rating in each of the 5 drives, which are described below. Drives are added to a character's skills to derive the target number that they attempt to when they attempt to make a test. But they also define why a character is taking action and what drives them to succeed. A character's most important drive is rated 8, the second most is rated 7, and the rest are 6, 5, and 4. Which drive applies to a test is usually defined by which drive statement applies to the action. But sometimes players may wish to speed up play by directly selecting yada yada yada. So they've got a series of drives: duty, faith, justice, power, and truth. And you arrange them by how important they are to your character, and then you attach to each one a statement. So drive statements. For each drive with a rating of 6 or higher, you define a single statement. This is a short sentence explaining what the character feels about the drive. Characters don't have drive statements for their lower rated drives because they don't feel strongly enough about those things. Some examples of statements, like for duty, it's people are the true strength of a great house. I serve at the pleasure of the house. Humans live best when each has their place. So I wonder if we could bring something like, because we've talked a lot about like the idea of these things shuffling when you restart, like the idea of like you having these epiphany moments, right? Like where things change for you. And I wonder if we can take something from there in order to. I really like the idea of, like, we have all these open-ended questions. Maybe we can do something there, where we can have like an order of like importance to them and attach statements to them. Just because we're doing like a rules-like game, it might be a good opportunity to do something like that.
Okay. So I'm just having a little bit of trouble figuring out how that actually is going to translate into what this would be. So you're suggesting then that we would have a player that has, like, what would be the equivalent of drives in this case?
So we could attach it to hold on a second, I gotta open up I got so many screens going.
No, you're good.
Give me that drive. Give me that Google Drive. POCKETQUEST.
Oh, are you looking for the doc I'm writing on?
Yeah, I just got in there.
Oh, okay. Dog, I would have just sent you the link. Sorry.
Oh no, it's all right. It's all right. I should have had it open. So character creation. Let's see. So I wonder if we could like, because conceivably you're putting you're putting these pips in skills as you go, right?
Right.
So maybe you like, maybe that's how we did, because we were talking about like the idea of like differentiating, maybe like each of the frame, or maybe like what AI are you, gives you like, you pick 3 and you attach like a drive to each one. Same kind of idea, where like, if you are in a situation where like the statement next to this is relevant, you would have to go with that, because that is like who your character is, or else you have to like reorder something. We could, my saying here is that we could attach them to skills.
Okay.
But we don't have to do it in that. I was just throwing something out that we could do with the character creation stuff.
So let me start here at character creation. So, I do think it makes sense. Each of these questions is going to have a couple of different options. I think minimum each question needs to have 3 answers to have a significant level of diversity to them. So it makes sense to me that for each of these things, we're going to have... Hang on one sec.
I think if each of these things we are going to have 3 answers that are going to be like impactful to your character, we probably need to cut how many questions there are.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah. I think, like, for example, who made you and what purpose were you made for? Pretty similar questions.
Yeah. And I like purpose better.
Yeah, same. So what kind of data were you fed off of? How do you see life in the universe? How long have you been in the shell? Well, we know how long you've been in the shell. It's 100 years. That's the conceit of the game. So what did you do in the shell? What was your first thought? What, if anything, do you fear? What special item do you have? How do you interact with the party? What does your starting corpse look like, and how did you find them?
So I think that I'm less interested in like special item, I guess.
Yeah.
Because we're talking more like, right, about like philosophical notions, right?
Yeah, and in a loadout system anyways, you can kind of have whatever you want, so...
Yeah. Well, and like, we could tie like a base something to like whatever frame you have, right? Like an EVA's got like something that a cybernetic enhance has, that some, right?
Sure.
So like, we can do something there with that.
I don't know if what, if anything, do you fear is necessary. It's like an interesting thing, but I don't know what it would actually add to the character creation.
I also feel it goes in like kind of the opposite direction of what, like, we want expansive exploration, like going into something new, not to like prompt the characters like the world is dangerous, you need to be afraid, right?
Yeah. I also think what did you do in the shell kind of, there's going to be correlation to like what purpose were you made for and like what data were you fed.
I like what purpose, and then I like what your starting course, because I think those are both like where we're touching on integral things.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what purpose are you created for. Maybe we can change it to like, what is your self-ascribed purpose? Something like that. But either way, I like that because we have the purpose of the AI and then we have the purpose of the body. So like that duality, I think both of those two need to definitely be there.
Yeah, I agree. How do you interact with the rest of the party doesn't seem necessary. That's just a how you play it kind of thing. And that leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. That actually seems Good.
I mean, honestly, I like. I don't think we need. How did you find them? I think we could do like, what is your starting course? Like, how did you find them feels like good flavor, but I don't know how we could like affect it to like a mechanical effect. What was your first? I love what was your first thought. How do you see life and the universe? That one, I like it.
I wish I could make it a little more specific. It just feels very open-ended.
Yeah. So this is maybe we can combine these two somehow, because I like the specificity, what kind of data were you fed off of, but I don't like it as much as like, how do you see like the philosophical ramifications, because it feels like, what purpose were you made for feels very much like, but maybe we can bring that same direct energy to this
Something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're close. But yeah, let's keep that for right now, and then because then we wouldn't need, how do you see the life of your life in the universe, or how.
No, that's fair. Like, if the previous question determines your personality, then we really don't need to establish how you see life.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Cool. And that gives us a solid 5. 5 questions.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, for character creation. And so for each of these, you're going to have, it's basically going to be 4 questions. One's going to add to your pips, one's going to add to your health, one's going to add to your loadout points, and one's going to add to, like, a special skill.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, no, I recognize the grunt.
I wonder, my question is, do we want that static approach for each questions, where each question gives you pips, health, loadout, or special skills? Or do we want to do something like where we have these statements and have those statements apply to your skills? Or like, do we want the pip loadout to be different? And does that change when you get a new body? Like, yeah, like so like how much do we want to ascribe to character creation? How much does that carry through in a game where you die frequently? And then do we want like each question to have a static result across, like, because obviously balance, that's much easier to do. But also balance wise, that could get like real hectic if you just have like, you know, somebody who, you know, fucking bumps out health.
Well, so
do we even want health?
Well, we do want health, because that's the whole point, is that you die.
Oh, the energy, right?
Yeah. So let me ask you this then. So it sounds like health and loadout points should be pretty independent of character creation. It sounds like the real thing is you can either get pips or you can get skills. Right? That's like those are the two things